Have you guys realized there aren't really tier lists in the League of Legends community anymore? This might be a point that some newer viewers don't really understand if you only started playing League in the past year or so, but back in earlier seasons, everyone was so obsessed with tier lists. We had Elements, of course, who was the support player for CLG, eventually Curse, and right now I think he's coaching Team Coast. He had this tier list on reignofgaming.net that the community took as law. If you were one of the top 3 champions on that list, you were getting nerfed in the next patch by Riot, and if you were one of the bottom 3 champions and you picked them in solo queue, you are going to get reported and most likely banned. The community was so focused on champion rankings, but it's really weird to see that people don't really care that much anymore. You can also see this on YouTube. Something that's really shocking to me is there are no top 10 YouTube videos for League of Legends champions. The top 10 videos are some of the most popular videos on YouTube. They're, you know, if you want to become successful on YouTube, one of the things that you can do to make a very easy YouTube channel is to make top 10 videos because they're so easy to digest and they become successful on YouTube for many reasons, but there are no top 10 League of Legends champions videos out there on YouTube, which is something that's really surprising. They do exist out there, of course, but you don't see big YouTubers like Spazzy or someone making them, and even when you do see a video like that, they typically have a lot of dislikes because people think that champion rankings are very subjective nowadays. That's the opposite of what I would have thought would happen in terms of the lifespan of League of Legends. In the earlier days is when people should have been coming up with all sorts of unknown strategies and unknown champions that nobody had thought of before because they hadn't had time to think of it before, when the community was much smaller and you didn't have millions and millions of people trying to perfect League of Legends at once the way you do today. But nowadays, more than any, is when you see all sorts of diversity in the strategies that we use and the champions we pick, not just in professional play but also in solo queue. I think people are really starting to wise up and think for themselves, and League is becoming much more diverse because of it. People don't just copy the LCS to a T anymore. If you see Lulu being played in the top lane in the LCS, you don't automatically think that that means she's OP to carry solo queue with. You see much more diversity in both the LCS and solo queue, and just because some champions are or aren't played in the LCS doesn't mean that they're good or bad for solo queue. Even in the LCS, we no longer really talk about top tier champions, but instead we mention high priority picks. Like Gnar, before he got nerfed, he was a very high priority pick. He was very strong with all the CC he had and all the tankiness and damage in his kit, but he wasn't an automatic win if you got a Gnar on your team, and he wasn't an automatic lose if you forgot to ban him. Even though certain champions have higher win rates than others and everything, that doesn't mean that we focus so intently on who are those best champions and maining them no matter what. We've switched our focus from who is the outright best to who works well in how we want to play the game or what sort of strategy that we want to run. Our strategies and methods determine who we like to play and who we want to play more so than anything, not just who's good or bad. I think the community's come to a point where we're realizing there aren't even that many shitty champions out there. There are good and bad champions, of course, but there aren't godlike or garbage champions, which is something that Nemesis Draft taught us very recently. We all went into Nemesis Draft thinking of all the bad champions that we always get stuck with in solo queue, really excited to pick them for our opponents and see them suffer, but then just get demolished when we give the enemy a Lux or a Ziggs or a Shaco, God forbid, that goes 24-1, just dominating your team. It's crazy what some people can do on some of the more, what people view as unpopular or not so good picks. People don't really care about champion rankings anymore since there are more respected picks in general in solo queue and competitive play, and that's given birth to a ton more diversity in the strategies and the champions that we see in solo queue. Copying the pros isn't a necessity anymore the way it was in earlier seasons, and people are realizing it's not even all that encouraged with certain compositions and strategies that pros run in the LCS. Because we're much more open-minded in the champions that we see being played, we're getting to see much more creativity and strategy in every level of the game, both in how we play and of course who we play. It's something that we should honestly be pretty proud of and happy that we've come so far as a community, hopefully keeping a similar mindset when looking towards other aspects of the game and moving forward. There really is variety everywhere, Other than, of course, the jungle. If you're on my team in ranked and you do not pick Jarvan or Vi, you are gonna get fucking reported. Thank you all very much for watching, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry if this one is a little bit plain or samey or has a cliched message or something. I know I've talked about this a few times on the channel before. Right after I got back from my trip to Washington, though, I got hit with food poisoning, which was absolutely awful, suffering from a bit of G-Bola, but I'm feeling much better now, and I'm happy to get some videos out and some videos put together before I head out to PAX East. If you guys are going to be out at PAX East, make sure you come find me and say hi. I cannot wait to go. It's going to be all kinds of awesome. This will be the first time I've gone to the actual East Coast in a while, and I'm just really excited. This will be my first PAX East as well. I'm really excited to go there. I hope anyone who's going out there, make sure you find me and say hi. But anyway, until my next video, thank you all very much for watching this one. Good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.